Welcome to Vintage Radio Cafe, your #1 channel for relaxing vintage audio restoration. If you like watching an idiot wielding a soldering iron, you've come to the right place. Watch Ray's attempts to fix wonderful forgotten radios from another era, way before transistors. Sometimes he even gets them working again. What could go wrong, right?
Okay folks, so I'm back. So yeah, it's been many days since I last worked on the Othello, and because I'm honest, I didn't do a reshoot, so I kept everything I had shot and everything I had said. And you know, at the time, what I'm trying to say is I stand by what I said at the time. It was logical. So let me explain. Yeah, I already determined, well, first of all, that I thought I had a short and that there was a burn spot on the mains AC power going in, that part of the power cord. So I changed it and I still had what appeared to be a short. Also, what I thought was a resistor on that line, it was here. I thought it was a resistor, but it's only two shields, one inside of the other. Two plastic shielding just to prevent contact between the two pins. Okay, so that's that. And yeah, after, I don't know, 2 or 3 days of testing, checking continuity and resistance, I couldn't make sense of it. I didn't understand why the radio was still on. And yeah, I was quite stupid. Okay, let me show you. I'll turn the radio around, try to show you the top because now it's in the chassis holder. But you should get an idea here. Okay, that wire, I think I showed you that wire before, and it was connected like that with this connector, just a pressure connector. Okay, and yeah, I thought, looking at the schematic, since this chassis is common to 3 other models, yeah, I was pretty certain that V15 and V13, what they call the lamp and the switch holder, or the lamp holder, I was certain this wire, you know, had been just connected together like that safely, so it could be used to connect to a lamp for a phonogram model, you know, with a big cabinet, and once you open the lid, the light would come on, you know, with a pressure switch or something. I was sure it was that. And looking at the schematic, it sort of made sense, you know. But no. What the guy before me did, and I already spoke with the seller, he says he got the radio like that. I have already showed you this is the power switch, okay? But that's only 50% of it. It goes down, and there's a rocker. This is a rocker mechanism. And what it does, well, it moves. You see? Watch here. Just there. You see? It's moving the wafer switch. So, I mean, I've seen those switch before, but namely on the Grundigs. But the switch part is always at the bottom. So I assume it was at the bottom. I did look at it and I didn't see a switch, but I saw the wafer moving. So I figured, wrongly, mind you, but I figured, oh, it's probably just a different type of switch, you know, probably the whole wafer cuts off the power. But no, it is missing its switch, and it was connected to those wires. So the guy before me, you know, for some reason, you know, I don't know, maybe because of the short we were having on the power cord, maybe the radio stopped working, maybe it shorted out, I don't know. And he just, you know, removed 50% of the switch. The important part, you know, the contacts, he removed them. He removed completely. I mean, he could have just, you know, unsoldered or cut the wires and you know, connecting them together and left the switch there. But for some reason, maybe he tried working on it, he messed it up, I don't know. So the switch is gone. The radio has been shorted. You know, the switch has been shorted like that. So that's the reason why it's always on. And yeah, I won't lie, I had to resort to my friend Mike, who's a electronics engineer, and we figured that part out. And then I asked David, and yeah, David cleared everything up for me. And I understand that the radio will work like that, okay? The only difference, and it's major, is that the radio is always on as soon as you turn the power on. So I said, well, okay, why didn't it explode? I mean, don't I have two sources of current sending the current to the switch? And he says, well, there's always, yeah, the power bar where all the other switches are connected to. They have access to the current, right? But intrinsically, I don't know why, but if nothing is selected and the switch is directly connected, the AM or the short wave the medium wave will start playing. So that's why when I turned the radio on, I saw the light bulb, from the dim bulb coming on rather strongly, because it's still a 75 watt power consumption radio, and I only have what do I have, 240s, so I've got 80 watts there. So it was pretty bright, so I shut it off immediately because I thought I had a major short, but apparently not. So if I would keep it like that, I would always have to keep one band active, AM or FM or whatever, always active, and just turn the power off or unplug it. So where I'm even more stupid is that, and I showed you this before, I think, well, the power cord. They had cut the power cord, connected them with those same type of connectors, so that should have, sparked something in me, but I didn't pick up on it, and they put this type of power cord with a switch. But now I understand for sure they needed a switch, so that's how they turned the radio on and off like that. I don't know if they left a band activated all the time. Let's say you're listening to AM, this is the antenna, to the AM, and then when you want to turn it off, you leave it like that, and you would just turn this off. Okay, long explanation, right? So my problem, at this point is, where can I find such a switch? Okay, already I was having trouble finding a proper replacement piano key, okay, the right size, and I found only one guy in Germany who had one. Well, he had a couple, and he was asking, I think it was 25 euros each. So that's like 45 bucks plus $25 shipping. I mean, come on. I'm not going to pay 60 or 70 or $80 for a piano key. And I couldn't find the exact same thing I needed here. As you can see on Bruno's model, not only is there a switch, but just beneath it, there's like this tube. It doesn't connect directly. There's many different flavors of those switches. So I couldn't find the right one. The few ones that I could see, they were asking prices like that, 17, 20, 25 euros, mind you, plus the shipping. So. I wrote to the seller once again and asked about the power switch, and he said, no, I got it like that. It was always like that. I said, oh, okay. So he didn't have it. He didn't have the original one or a replacement one. So he sent me an email. He says, oh, well, maybe you can try this guy. It's a similar model. He was looking at an ad on Marketplace again, and it was a similar model. It seemed to be a bigger one, but the seller was asking $50, but without any description. German radio, good looking, but how did he put it? Too weak for us to be able to use it, or something like that. So, okay, I wrote this guy in hopes that maybe the switch would be compatible. So I went there this morning, 2 hours just to get there up north in the Laurentian, 2 hours to get back. $50. I mean, if I can use the one of the piano keys and the switch, it's a bargain. So there you have it. Another monster. Okay. This one is a Nordmende Sterling. Okay, I tried searching if there was a merger with a company called Sterling at the time, but nope, I didn't find anything like that. The company was, or some of the shares were sold to a French businessman at one point, but Sterling in this case probably just mean top of the line, you know, as a sterling silver being pure quality, probably means something like that. So this radio is supposed to be stereo, but I've seen a guy restoring one, and he says it's only stereo on the pickup input, not on FM or AM. AM for sure, but not on FM. So okay, and yeah, it's got more buttons, more selections and all that. It's got 6 speakers, and yeah. It's and I already know what you guys are thinking, and I apologize in advance, but no, I'm not going to restore this one because it's in really bad shape. And I mean, if I start on this one, it's going to be very expensive replacing the tubes, although I'm not sure they're all gone. But I mean, look at this. Look at this damage. The brass, part of the brass is missing, and the wood has been smashed in. But the general finish, I mean, it's very, very, very dirty now. You might not see it, maybe from an angle. You see what I mean? Everything is cracked. Everywhere. I mean, of course, it's fixable. I can restore it, but not me. I can't do it. You know, the first radio I did was a RCA Victor 87K, and I redid the cabinet and all that. It was from 1937, so it was just as bad, if not worse. And I'm not kidding, guys. It took me a year. It took me a year. Yeah, I was starting out. I was figuring out the electronics, the vacuum tubes, and all that. But just working in the cabinet, I don't know, working on my balcony, as you know. Maybe I worked 2, 3, 4 months. I don't know, just on that alone. So this one was kept in a barn, but a barn that has no door. So sure, no heat, but not even the door. Where it was positioned, I mean, snow couldn't get to it, but it was cold and humidity eating at it all the time. So what I'm going to do now, well, I'm going to have supper first. It's been a long day. Then I'll clean it just enough, you know, for me to be able to handle it. It's so dirty. It dirties everything on the bench and my hands and all that. So I'll clean the exterior just a bit. Then I'll do the inside just a little bit with the air compressor, with the shop vac, you know, just a minimum, so I can hear myself think and have a look at the switch. I already looked at it, and it seems to be the same form factor, but I don't know how I'm going to remove it and put it back. I don't know what the guy has done and how he went about it. It doesn't seem to be something, you know, interchangeable or removable. I don't know. So I'll have to look at that, but there's hope. And I believe the piano keys will be the right size. Sure hope so. So what I'm trying to say also is that I believe there comes a time in any radio restorer's life where you need to find a sacrificial donor unit. I'm sure of it. And you know, you come to one point where you can't find parts, and you just have to buy another radio. When I did the 87K, I needed the 2 more radios just to fix the one I was working on. I couldn't find, what was it? I think it was the dial and the transformer. Can't find a transformer like that. So I'm thinking I'm going to use the parts I need for now. I'll keep it. And since I like working on German radios, I'm more than likely to be able to use more parts with time in it. So let me go grab a bite, and I'll come back and show you the radio once it's a little bit cleaner, okay? But that's it for, it's almost an episode right there, just trying to explain myself. So yeah, I want to get this one going because it's really nice, really clean. The cabinet, I'll admit, I like the shape of this cabinet more. It's not as deep, it's not as bulky, maybe a little bit wider. It's almost 27 inches wide. And yeah, I like the shape better, especially from the side. There's 6 speakers, so there's 2 here. Yeah, I can see one there, and 2 mid-range, serving as woofers, I guess, in the front. So yeah, it's a shame, I know, but a lot of work for me. So I'll show you all this. I'll be back, okay? Good morning, everybody. Yeah, it's the next day, so this will be the 4th day of working on the radio. And last night I spent 2 hours on cleaning the cabinet and the chassis a little bit, so I can get a better view of the switch. And yeah, this is the radio, and I just want to show you. Look at this cracking, because at first glance, you know, it's shiny because it's clean, but it's for me, it's beyond repair. I don't have the means. Okay, and I forgot to mention last night, the actual model. It is a Nordmende Sterling, but the model is a Tannhauser. Yeah, 11 tubes, stereo, at least stereo capable. And it would have been really a top of the line radio for its time. But yeah, it's going to be a donor. My decision is made. I'm not going to work on it. Who knows? Maybe I can help out somebody that needs part for it, for one that he's restoring in better condition, or I'll use some of the parts for later projects. Okay, so I don't want to make this video about this radio. I'm really working on the Othello, and yeah, so the switch was there. I think it's the exact same form factor. Now I removed the screws, and I removed it last night. So this is what it looks like. Okay, there's only the screws missing in the inside. So let me show you how this contraption works. The cylindric part at the bottom is under the I'd say the floor plate of the assembly. So that will remain there. So I was worried about that, but no, that doesn't come out. What does is the switch per se. So I'll try to take it out. Okay, so remember the 2 screws there? Well, you can see very clearly, and that's the point where the Othello is. It's like that. The bottom rocker is there, and those are the 2 holes for the screws. So yeah. Now, I'm gonna make a video. Okay, I'll set up, I'll show you a schematic that I did. And I wouldn't forgive myself if I didn't make a video about those type of switches, okay? Because I looked online, I couldn't find anything. Although I did replace or cleaned a couple of those, I never had to replace it and, you know, go to this step. So this is the heart of the switch, okay? There's a contact on each side. And inside you can see the 2 contacts there. And they're very dirty. And there's a connector that goes to it. And we'll see this, okay? Let me get set up on the tripod. We'll see exactly how this works and why technicians at the time didn't bother cleaning them or even replacing them. Maybe they were just as hard to find here in Canada in the 70s or 80s, because I imagine they started going bad. You know, they started getting really dirty at least 10 years after initial installation, I would guess 10, 15 years. So that brings us late 70s, early 80s. And I'm not even sure in the 80s if there were still a technician that would go around to the houses to do house calls. I don't think so. I remember in the 70s we had one. Every family had one. But after that, yeah. So let me get set up on the tripod. I'll show you how this contraption works. Okay guys, so now I'll do my very best to explain how this works, but bear with me, okay? Because it's not simple. So let's first look at this drawing, okay? David would call it a mud map, I imagine. So you see the side of the chassis here. So all this is the underside of the chassis, and that would be the front of the radio. So you have your piano key, and there's a connecting rod going to the wafer switches. So pressing it makes it move, and when you select something else, AM, FM, whatever, makes it come back, okay? And there's a connecting rod there. I call it the rocking mechanism because it's connected to another rod just underneath. That's the cylinder part, okay? So whenever this moves, well, the rocker acts like a scissor, okay? One part goes in, the other part goes out, and vice versa. And that's where the switch comes in, okay? So this is the black plate we see from the top. So on the side, let's call it the mounting plate. And you have your switch, okay? There's two contacts there. So the mounting plate, the switch, and the two contacts, okay? The way this is made, it's rounded, okay? Well, I can't really see it from that side, but it's not flat. It's a circle, half circle, and when the contacts, well, okay, let's start by the beginning. So inside the switch, well, you have your two screws to hold it on the plate, okay? Then the switch will be there. And what makes the contact between those two is just this, I can't see what I'm doing, this barbell connector. That's how I call it, okay? So it goes at the bottom, and when it rocks in position, all the way there, it touches both contacts and makes continuity. And how does this move there? Well, this is the inner part right here. So the barbell connector will be here. And there's this little tiny cylinder with a spring, very important. And there's a little cap here, okay? Easy to lose. Tiny, tiny cap. And it's rounded inside. It's another half circle. So this is the important part. Okay, so this, goes inside. Like that. And will connect with the other half of the switch. The top of the rocker there that I showed you, it's a ball joint that goes inside of that. And the barbell, there's just a slot there. The barbell fits in perfectly like that. So when it moves, it just goes like this from one side to the other. I hope this makes sense. It's easy in principle, but quite a bitch to reassemble. Let me tell you, the cleaning is nothing. So this is the whole assembly and how it works. I hope it makes sense. You know, you press the piano key. There's the first movement here, making this rocker move, and in turn it will reverse the direction of this secondary rocker, if you will, and this will make the barbell connector move back and forth and make contact with those contacts. Okay. Now, I'm gonna set up and remove those contacts, because those little guys here, those contacts come out. Okay, and maybe you can see it, the phenolic plate there is starting to come out, because there's a phenolic plate there to prevent it from rocking, from moving, and you must not lose that. It has to go a special way. So I'll move in closer. Didn't focus or not? Maybe not. And we'll start cleaning. Okay, I'll show you how it's done. But that's the working principle of those switches. It only has a rocker mechanism like that for the main power switch. All the other wafers just move back and forth, and connectors come out on top, and there's wires going there. So when you press one key in, those connectors get in place just like any push-in switches, but they're on wafers. They make contacts and they activate whatever band you wish to listen to, or the phono or the record player. So I think it's brilliant, for the time, for its time when it was invented, thought of. It was great, but it has one major flaw, is that any switches, not just this type, but any switches, when current goes through it, there's always a spark. That little arcing you see, and I've shown you this before. Well, anytime there's a spark, it's the principle of the conservation of energy. If there's a spark, it's a little fire. That fire burns something, and it burns the dust. It burns the whatever particle is floating in the air, and with time it becomes soot. Plus the natural oxidation from oxygen and all that. So no wonder they all fail. And I can just imagine a technician at that time, arriving at your house with his suitcase, with a few tools and a screwdriver and a multimeter. And you would have a look at your radio, take a few voltages and determine, it's the switch. So I can make it work, but it's always going to be on. Otherwise, I'll have to bring it to the shop, work 2 days on the bench, and it's going to cost you $50 or something. That's the way the technician spoke to us when I was young. The guy came to fix our TV. You would always say the same thing. Well, I can, Jimmy rig something, and it's going to cost you $15, or and it's going to be done tonight, and you'll finish watching the third period of the hockey game, or I'll bring it into the shop, you'll get it in 2 weeks, and it's going to cost you $100. Remember, and I'm not inventing those numbers. I remember every time the technician came home, it was $40, $45, $50. In 1972, my dad was making $70 a week. The rent was $70 a month. So when you had to pay $45 for anything, $45 was the typical amount for our groceries, 4 kids, $45, $50, $60. And a quarter of your salary on your rent, the other quarter on food, and whatever is left is, we didn't even have a car. So $45 or $40 for a quick repair like that was really a lot of money. $100 was out of the question. So I'm not surprised. I see, it's at least the second one I see where the switch has been cut off. It was an easy solution. The chassis didn't have to come out of the radio at all. It could be done, on location, just a pair of snips. You cut it, you join it together, and bye-bye. Give me $10 and your radio's fixed, and I go to the next customer. That was the frame of mind. That was the way of doing things. So it makes sense. So let me just start cleaning the contact. Give you even a better idea of how it works. So here's the setup, guys. I've got some deoxit, probably for the end part. I've got some alcohol and some Brasso, because I doubt very much I'll be able to remove anything with just alcohol. So I've also got a fiberglass pen. I never used those before, so it's going to be a first try. Got my trusty tweezers, and first of all, let's look at what we have. Okay, so we'll take the multimeter and we'll take some readings. So we have contacts on the side, continuity, but that's not what's touching. Okay, what's touching is those dark parts, completely oxidized. So let's touch this, and nothing. Inside it works, but where it's credit, it doesn't work. So this is what we have to clean, right? It's oxidized. I don't think there's any rust, but let's start. I hope I'll be in frame all the time, because the camera is over my head and I don't see what I'm shooting. So let's take some alcohol. Let me put my trusty magnifying glasses so I can see what I'm doing. Yeah, okay. Let's try this. If it makes any difference. Yeah, well, I can be at it all day. And it won't remove anything. Surface dust, maybe dirt, but not doing much. Okay. Let's try it with the fiberglass. See if it gets us any further. This is getting dirty, but don't see much result yet. Okay, let's try something else. Let's try with Brasso. A little bit of Brasso. Fresh cotton swab. Not much happening, I can tell you that. This is a 4-aught steel wool, so it might be a little bit too soft. It's fused to the brass, that's for sure. Starting to see through it at places. Yeah, let me try something else. Okay, I'm back, and instead of steel wool, I am going to move to sandpaper. It's P2000, okay, so it's very, very light grit. It's wet and dry. And yeah, maybe with a little bit of alcohol, we'll get through. Maybe. Where's the center here? Yeah, some parts are starting to come off, but I'm going to try something else. What about this? Yeah, let's try it on a drill. Okay, so I'm not getting anywhere with 2000. Let me get some higher grit. So yeah, I don't have anything finer than 320. So we'll try this reluctantly, slowly, and we can always come back to 1000, 2000 to polish it off, but let's give it a try. That's 320 grit. Yeah, I can see it coming off now. Way more. Way more. Yeah, look at that. And yeah, the contact is much better. Let's keep going. Don't dare go any further. Let's polish it with 2000 again, and yeah, a little bit of alcohol. Wipe it clean. Come on. Look at this. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. I've never seen anything like it. No wonder it wasn't working, right? No wonder. Okay. See, we start here. It's clean. Yeah, not as bad as here, but still some left. Yeah, this is from my drill. Another continuity test. Okay, the dark one was on the right side. Yeah, with high voltage going through it, it's going to work. Maybe just because I like doing it. Maybe just another pass or two. Not close enough. Let's put a bit of the oxide. Give it a final wipe. Final test. Try to hit the dark spot. Yeah, there's one here. If it works there, it's going to work anywhere. Oops, my glasses. Dark spot there. Can't hold it properly, sorry. Yeah, done, guys. I'm not kidding you, right? I've shown you everything, full length of the video. This is how bad it was. So, okay, I'm not gonna film the other smaller parts. Hopefully it'll go faster, it'll go better, but it's the same deal, right? So yeah, catch you on the other side. Okay guys, so I finished doing one of the contacts, the passive ones, and let me show you the difference. On the left you have the dirty one, and on the right the one that's been cleaned, and the important part is really the tips. And yeah, it went easier, but I still needed to use steel wool, and on the very tip a little bit of sanding paper, but yeah, managed to get it done. See the difference? Although the sides don't matter, but at least the tips. Yeah, big difference. No wonder it wasn't working. So let me do the next one. So okay, everything's reassembled, and yeah, I don't know if you can see this, but maybe like this. So you know your phenolic are inserted correctly when they are flush and they don't move sideways anymore. We see the both of the connectors and the barrel connector. Now the little plastic cylinder is there, the springs inside, and the cap is on. So in theory, as soon as, let's check this with the multimeter, okay? And as soon as I apply pressure a little bit on this, I should get continuity. Oops, I'm not on both sides. Yeah, see? Oh, I'm not even touching it, just a little bit of pressure. So this should work, but the next part is always a nightmare. I'll do my best. Probably won't be able to do any footage, but yeah. So far so good. Okay guys, so the switch is soldered in place. Going to the the mains input. Right here. Meters there. So let's see if we still have continuity, right? Yeah, more solid now. Great.